Hey, good afternoon, good morning. Thank you all for listening here to the LinkedIn Live. Welcome to Wrench Factor, where we explore the technologies and innovation shaping the future of industrial asset management. Here we discuss the biggest challenges facing our frontline teams and how we can help share some of these insights from our frontline professionals to the back office, otherwise known as from the boiler room to the boardroom, or depending on the industry, from your boots to suits. Today, we're diving into how technology is revolutionizing workplace safety. And I'm joined by Eric Ayanegui, who is the Senior Director of Operations and Engineering Solutions at Cintas. Eric brings valuable insights into how data-driven tools and mobile-first solutions are helping organizations, in particular Cintas, build stronger safety cultures while improving operational efficiency. Eric, thanks for joining us. How's it going today?
Excellent, doing well. Greetings from just outside of Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Green Bay, that's fantastic. I know that this starts to get a little bit chillier up there at this time of year. Thank you for calling in, for making time. Eric, I know that that your role is very dynamic. You cover a lot of really important things for Cintas. Maybe for some of the folks that are listening here to the LinkedIn Live, to Wrench Factor, could you just share a little bit of background?
Yes, so just next week will be my 30th year with Cintas. I've had several roles that have involved production. I worked in supply chain as well for a little bit, and the majority of my career has been in engineering. But I did also participate as one of the original founding members of the safety team that launched the Cintas safety strategy just about the year 2004. And then ever since, we'll see, I've taken the influence that safety imparted onto my Cintas role and have applied the safety concepts and safety passion into everything I've done engineering-wise ever since. And in my current role, I am the person that directs the strategy for reliability and asset management at Cintas, and I've been doing that for just about since 2007.
Wow, Eric, you've seen a lot. You've covered a lot of ground. Just for listeners here, Cintas is, we all know the Cintas brand, but kind of give us the depth and breadth. How 100 locations, 200 locations you're typically traveling to? What's that typically look like for you?
Yep. So the world of reliability and asset management at Cintas impacts pretty much the entire company. The part that I am involved in has to do with our industrial laundries, and those are about 205 plants.
Wow.
In which we are the stewards of the of reliability and maintenance programs, which involves not only the procedures to maintain the equipment, but also the training and development strategies for the technicians that maintain the equipment. But then at the same time, we do not see at Cintas reliability as just a discipline of only technicians and engineers, but we see it really as a corporate-wide, you say, level of understanding. Our executive suite, all the way through middle management, they understand that reliability plays an important role in the success of the company. So we also put together education and development programs for people that are not necessarily technicians to make sure that they understand the important role of reliability and asset management.
So not only on the background side of what all you've done with Cintas over the 30 plus years, but the locations and the traveling to all of this, driving corporate culture for safety has been really important. And I think if there's anybody that has experience in doing this, it's Eric, right? That has really been part of this. Eric, can you share part of your journey and your leadership challenges, and maybe some things that you've worked to drive as to make safety as a part of your company culture across all of these locations? And I'm sure every location is unique and has its own dynamic that goes to it, but you've done a phenomenal job of shaping this. Can you share some of those top 2 or 3 things that you really focus on with these personalities at all the locations that you encounter?
Yep. So, I joined the company 30 years ago, and we've always had some level of safety strategy and programs and training and development and safety rules and procedures. However, in 2004, that's when the company formed a safety team. We brought in a safety professional with tremendous amount of safety experience from other industries. We took several people from Cintas to be trained at higher level of safety. I was one of those that was selected for that team. And then what we did is we took a look at all the different safety regulations that existed, and we kind of identified the ones that applied to Cintas. So you could say that in earnest, our world-class safety program launched in 2004. And then when you learn about safety, one of the pinnacles of safety, besides obviously having a low injury rate and so forth, one of the also pinnacles of safety is to look at who are the beacons of safety excellence. And in the U.S. is OSHA VPP star sites. And so early on, we knew that, first of all, many of our customers were sites that were certified as some of the safest places to work in America. And we looked to them for inspiration. And so in 2007, the company achieved the first OSHA VPP site. And then not only was it the first for Cintas, but also it was the first in our industry, the industrial laundry industry. And so that proved to the company that we had enough within our corporate culture, the company culture, that we could integrate safety management into it. And so earlier you mentioned corporate culture. Well, at Cintas, safety culture and corporate culture are no longer two different entities or two different things. At Cintas now, we've been a world-class safety company for quite some time, to where now the Cintas culture includes safety. In other companies, when you're early in your journey, you will have your company culture, and then you're kind of bolting in or trying to merge your safety understanding and your safety passion. But your goal should be ultimately be that when you're describing your company, you should also be describing yourself as a safety excellent type of company. Now, what's interesting, so I mentioned in 2007, it marked a very important milestone that we could achieve the first one. But then over the years, we've then learned how to do it again. So we were able to inspire other one of our sites, many of our sites, to then try to pursue an OSHA VPP certification. And then eventually we got our second site and our third site and our fourth and fifth. And next thing you know, it was our 20th and our 40th and our 50th. And in 2019, we crossed a very important milestone. In 2019, Cintas achieved the pinnacle, at least at that time, for being the only company ever to achieve 100 OSHA VPP sites. In fact, in 2019, the Department of Labor bestowed on Cintas the Chairman Department of Safety Excellence, because of the fact that they had never been a company achieving 100 sites with OSHA VPP certification. And that number today is 128. And the next closest organization that has many sites well, you could say that they're in the second place of that list, has approximately 60. So one of the things that is now pretty clear in our company is that we are definitely a great example to follow as to how you could take a humble understanding of safety and then develop it into a passion for safety. And that passion for safety can become now part of your company culture. And then if you want to be great at being a great company, for us, it means also being great at safety. Sure. Back to you.
That's really phenomenal. Starting with that one site, building a playbook, something that you could take and then go from one site to 2 sites to 50 sites, right? And doing that scale across the organization and doing that, during this time, as you're identifying how to implement your safety playbook, were there any kind of data insights that led to an overall significant improvement in the safety and operational protocols, or any more insights into that process of implementation that you could talk to us about?
Absolutely. So when you are dealing with safety, you're dealing with two things. You're dealing with injury prevention and also compliance. Making sure that you don't have fire extinguishers blocked, that your electrical safety compliance is in place, but at the same time that you're also watching for whenever there's an incident, an injury, or a near miss, that you're doing a really good job of dissecting each one of those potential. Let's say if there was a safety incident, or if you had an infraction, or you had self-identified an issue with a compliance issue. Let's say a fire extinguisher was blocked. Well, you need to look for what were the processes. You look at the mirror. What were the processes that led to the failure? What were the processes that failed? Let's say somebody slipping and falling. Was there, first of all, the origination of the leak that caused the puddle of water? And then did somebody identify it and didn't do anything to prevent it or bring in some awareness so that people will stay away from that? And so you do a kind of a deep dive into that, and you could follow different processes that exist, like a fishbone diagram, or you could do a DMAIC process, so all kinds of different ways of analyzing an issue. And in the case of compliance, the same thing. Now, when you have so many sites, then what you do is then you start getting that data as an aggregate. And then what you do is you could then start looking for similarities. So you could put together processes or training to mitigate those going forward. And then at the same time, you may need, in our industry, we work a lot with equipment. So we may need, it may call for you to work with manufacturers to maybe re-engineer the piece of equipment or re-engineer the process so that then you completely eliminate the possibility of the situation ever occurring again. So, so some of it may be data-driven from something that's recurring, meaning that you may have a recurring analysis point where you take a group of people that on a periodic basis review any incident, or maybe there's a group of people that review on a periodic basis any recommendations, because at times, safety does not necessarily have to be an incident. It could be something that was identified as a potential thing to happen. And that is actually the pinnacle of safety, when you're already tracking and measuring near misses, things that never happened, that something that could have happened but never did, but you are still tracking it to make sure that you prevent things from happening in the future. And so for those of you in the audience that maybe at this time you're only tracking events that already occurred, don't be discouraged. That's where everybody starts. And we started by tracking incidents. But then the pinnacle of safety is when you then start tracking things that did not occur, when you're preventing things. At times, we did use data analytics, spreadsheets, and stuff like that. But now our safety team has now resorted to developing an app so that we can collect information from our location assessments. And then in the case of our company, we're trying to also expand the use of our CMMS. So we use a computerized maintenance management software that it is cell phone friendly. And so we can then capture work requests, suggestions for something to be fixed, and then eventually we could then do data analytics on that as well.
Eric, one of the things that I love about the role and the job that you've done here is really being part of that original team, identifying the need here, and then using company culture to help drive that strategy overall, and how those two go back and forth, right? And one of the things that I was also behind the scenes, what we had talked about before, was how you and Cintas are leaders in the industry, how safety is not unique to, or should not be unique to Cintas, and how you want to help lead as an industry side, and how you help share part of that playbook on safety, how to help drive better culture with other organizations. Could you just, in the last couple minutes here, just share some of that, how Cintas is being a leader in the industry with its peers?
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, so there are a couple of ways. So first of all, safety should be one of those topics in which there should be no competition. I mean, you should be an open book as much as you can. Especially if you could share a best practice, that's obviously great. So our company participates in several organizations and associations that are safety related, in which professionals of other companies and other industries, some of our competitors as well, in which you share the common goal of, we want to implement best practices that prevent an injury. So from that perspective, that is awesome, because then there's nothing more rewarding than preventing an injury. And there's nothing more rewarding than making an environment easier on the body for somebody to do their job. Yep. So we participate in ergonomics forums. We do have resident ergonomists and actually an ergonomics team. We also participate in safety forums in which we learn what other industries are doing to mitigate hazards, and we implement best practices. We learn from them, and we share best practices with them as well. But then also we attend maintenance and asset management conferences in which at times we do share safety-related topics as related to technicians, In fact, for example, in 2017, we shared at the International Maintenance Conference information about a maintenance safety certification that we developed, in which we took safety training for technicians to a certification level. There were many benefits to that program that caught the attention of the conference organizers. And so we made a presentation and we received an international award recognizing that certification as the best practice. Now, getting an award is one thing. It just kind of lets you know that your peers think what you have is special. But really, the most important thing is that by you winning an award, that lets you know you're a leader. And that means that you're willing to then share and continue to be motivational and then inspirational to maybe others that want to pursue, the same type of passion for safety. So on that, this, I'll say, again, on safety is in a different category as other metrics in which you could be a little bit more open and share best practices with others. And associations are a perfect place, and also conferences.
Eric, one of the as we think about this and next steps, and typically the Wrench Factor audience here, we have a lot of young leaders that will listen to this and that are paying attention. Any parting words or advice that you would give to them on how they help implement or bring tools to their organization and how they get leadership buy-in from their teams in order to implement the standards necessary?
Yeah, great point. So first of all, I commend you if you're taking up any, because if you're taking up any initiative to kind of be the go-to person, or you raise your hand to say, I want to lead it, I want to lead the team, I want to lead the project. Particularly in safety, that I commend you, because then for safety, particularly in safety, to be a safety leader has nothing to do with your title. It has all to do with your attitude and your motivation towards making your workplace safer for everybody else. But one of the things that is really important for you to get a lot of traction is to make sure that the highest level leadership in your organization, whether it's the owner, the managing director, the CEO of your company, that they understand the value of your safety strategy, of your safety project that will bring to the company. At times, the language that you need to speak is injury reduction, and that will play to a certain audience that will be very respectful and very appreciative of that. At times, you need to show the dollar savings for your project, because at times maybe your idea may require some funding, and the funding needs to be planned and so forth. But then at times also it's your audience will be the people onto which the project will happen to. For example, let's say you develop a new training program that will then be taken by many individuals that will have to take time away from their job to take your training that you will develop. So make sure that you also integrate them into the development of that, and that you explain the why. Sometimes the what is really exciting. Hey, this is what we're doing. But really, the most important thing that you need to convey is the why. And sometimes the why may need to be a couple of different times, or the why may be different depending on who you're talking to. Like I said, the why to the executive office may mean a combination of factors, like the financial implications, I'm going to call it the employee satisfaction implications, and some others. But then to the people that will actually receive the training, for them, the financial may not be at all important. It may just be, hey, what does it mean to me in my job, and how is this going to make me safer?
Eric, leaders come in all shapes and sizes and positions up and down within the company. But what you're really articulating here is that leadership really comes down to the why behind the what. Can you explain the why in order to drive the motivation for your team and for your organization to deliver on the what and the next step, that what they're doing? And I really commend you for doing that. Eric, thanks a lot for making some time today. I know you're on the road up in Green Bay. I know you're a busy man getting out to all of these locations. We sincerely thank you for carving out some time. We appreciate that time. Look forward to continuing the conversation in the future. And thanks to our audience for tuning in. To dive deeper into this topic in particular, there's going to be a link that is in the comments section here on safety, and it's published on automation.com. Digital innovations are making industrial facilities safer than ever before. And so that was just published recently here in January. And so Look forward to any kind of comments here in the section, any kind of comments on the articles. Please reach out to Eric at Cintas. Please reach out to myself or anybody else here at the MaintainX team. Thank you again for joining us today.